Hi everybody, and thank you for joining me for Watercolor Wednesday. Today we're going to paint a magical landscape. Just give me a second and we'll go through it right now. Okay, we're ready to get started. I just wanted to show you some really cool colors some of my students designed. And I wanted to let you know that if you wanted to do your own, you could let your mom or dad know, and you guys could go ahead and invent one too. So today we're debuting Mika's Gold that one of my students made. We have this one, which is called Midnight Dreams. And then we have this other one here. It's yet to be named by one of my students as well. Okay, let's get started. So today we're painting a magical fantasy landscape, okay? So first we're gonna start off by coloring our background here. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint my sky. So it's up to me if I wanna paint a beautiful sunset or a pink sky, whatever I want. Today I'm gonna keep it simple. And I'm going to add a little water to my blue, to a light blue. And again, your palette can be different than mine. That's totally fine. So you can have some watercolor palette, coarse paintbrushes, and you don't have to have as many as I do either, and some water. And of course, your paint paper. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to take quite a bit of water, and I'm going to wash through my sky. However, when I come, I'm only going to do the very top, because when I come down here, I'm going to use my small brush, and I'm going to do a couple shapes right here, like this, with that same sky color, okay? And I want to make sure that I go around that, okay? So make sure you go around those three shapes. Okay, and again, I'm just adding a lot of water. And I'm going around those three shapes I made that are just tall rectangles. And if I want, I can always add more than one blue in there. So I'm going to take some of this glitter blue I have. You don't have to have the same. And I'm just going to sweep that through. Pretty glitter blue. So you could do several blues. And I'm just going to go up to maybe right about here. And I'm going to do two little lumps right here next to those rectangles, okay? So again, just blue skies. Keep it real simple. Right. And I'm going to go ahead and do two little lumps right here, okay? Next to those three rectangles. So I'll give you a minute to do that. Again, you drew three rectangles, and you have two lumps right here that are still white, and then just a blue sky. And if you want to change your sky color, go ahead. You can do a purple sky. You could do a sunset sky, whatever you want. So I'll give you a minute to catch up with that. Great. So once you've got that, and again, after I post this, you can pause it as much as you'd like, okay? So feel free to pause if I start a little sooner than you'd like. Okay, next, I'm going to go ahead and grab a green of my choice. Okay, so I'm going to grab this green, and I'm just going to take a little water, get a lot of pigment. Pigment means a lot of color. So for this, I use more water, less color to get that really watery, dreamy look. Now I kind of want to pull up a little bit more pigment, and I'm going to go in and color these two hills right up to, you could actually bring it down as low as you want. Let's go to maybe right here. So there's like a green line right at the bottom, and I'm going to color in these two hills. And again, I can always do multiple greens if I want to be really creative. So I've got two watercolor green hills right here, right up to that little part right there. Big hills, and I'm even going to do some right in front of this part here. So what this is going to be is a castle. Those three rectangles I had you leave are going to be a castle. So see how I put a little bush in front of the castle, or a little hill, and two big hills back there. And I'll even do some back here, just peeking up off. Now if your building happens to be moved over, you don't have to do one in the back. I just saw that I could use a little hill back there. It's up to you. Your hill doesn't have to be as tall as mine either. Or it could be a big, big hill. This is your land. This is your creation. You could see I kept layering so that I can see little scribbles and little dots of greenery, right? There we go. So I'll give you a minute to get those really nice hills in, okay? Take your time. And again, you can pause after too. Great, so once you've got those hills, you're gonna go ahead and add some grass down here at the bottom. So I'm gonna lighten up my green with some, I'm gonna do maybe a few different colors of grass. So I'm definitely gonna put some yellow in there so it makes it light. So I'm just grabbing some yellow on my brush, and I'm gonna go in, and because I had a little green on my brush, you can see it turned into a lime green, but I'm okay with that, I like it. So I could put some yellow or lime green down here, and you could see your paper starts to curl. That's okay. I usually just hold it down. That's part of what happens. And then afterwards, once it's completely dry, if you want to straighten your paper out, then you can put it under a book. But it's got to be completely dry. And then I can even add some green over that. So I'm going to take some of my sparkle green and add a little of that. But yours doesn't have to be sparkly. It can be any green. And I'm just dotting it in with the yellow. And I know I move fast. You don't have to go as fast as me. I just paint fast. That's just my style because I find it really expressive. So I'm putting little dots everywhere. And I've got a lighter green down here. So I'll let you add that really quick. Great, once you've got that green down there, you could take some brown, any color brown you'd like. So I'm gonna take some of this brown, get some water on there to make sure you get enough pigment. So I'm pooling up the paint. So with watercolor, it's dry, so you have to get some water, and Really swirl around to pull up that paint, okay? And I'm mixing it. Well, to mix it, I just take that pigment, so I still have the light brown. Now I'm mixing it in over my dark brown. And the great thing about watercolor being dry, it's easy to clean. So now I can go over here, and I'm gonna do a tree just like this. And remember, like so many things in nature, I'm gonna go all the way up to the top, way high. Like so many things in nature, trees are thicker at the bottom, at the base, which is down here at the bottom, right? So there's so many things in nature you're gonna find that are similar, that are thicker as they go towards the bottom. Blades of grass, mountains that go into a point at the top but are thick at the bottom, and our tree is the same. And I'm gonna go right about to there. I can go past the green line, wherever I feel like, really. And it's just thicker, and it goes nice and skinny. So I'll give you a minute to do that. Great, so once you've got that tree, I'm gonna take any green of my choice again. I'm gonna take my sparkly green. You could take any green you want. And I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna add a puffy treetop here. And it may not be the top of your tree. The tree may be way taller and it just cuts off on the picture. That's okay. But I'm gonna add some greenery up here. Maybe I can even do different greens if I wanted. And I just add dabs and little dots. See how I'm like dotting it and lifting up my paintbrush? Almost like you're playing the drums on your painting. Just not too hard. Do little dots there. You could do different shades, so it doesn't all have to be light green. I could take in any other shade I want. I can even add yellow. It's up to you. So I'll add a little yellow just so you can see what happens when I do that. See? Blends in really nicely. And you can always do a dark green, whatever you want. I'm gonna even add some blue, and we're gonna see how the blue blends in. Just a little. It's up to you, though. You can say, I'm just sticking with green. That's okay. But see, that adds a little depth to it. I have dark colors, light colors, some green, and they're just dots that make a big fluffy tree. Alrighty, who's ready to move on to the castle? I'm pretty sure a lot of us are excited for that. So I'll give you a minute to finish your tree, and then we'll move on to the castle. Since we're moving on to the castle, we'll change the music a little too. These are fantasy piano pieces. This one came from Into the Woods, the Disney movie. And that sure does change the mood of our painting, doesn't it? We started off really bright with lots of colors, and we were very active with our music, and now we changed our music, and this will maybe calm us down as we paint, which is probably pretty good for the details we're going to get into right now. Next time you watch a movie, you can definitely pay attention to the music and see how it affects the movie. If your character's running, the music's sure going to be different than if the character is sleeping or if the character's sad. Okay, so I'm going to start with pink. You can use pink or red or any color you'd like. And again, I just took that water to activate the dry paint. And I'm taking a very skinny brush. And I'm going to go up here. And I'm going to add, and remember, a little less water, more paint with detail. So you want more pigment, more color, and just enough water to make it smooth, but not enough to make it drip. So not like our sky. And I go in and I'm gonna just add kind of like a cone shape. Like an ice cream cone turned over, but without the ice cream, right? So there's that shape there. See how it has kind of like a smiley face at the bottom and then a triangle at the top. Definitely does not have to be perfect either. So I'll give you a minute to get that shape. And remember, after I post this, you can pause, or you can try it with pencil first if you're more comfortable. Great. So once I've got that, I pull up my pigment and I color that in. And again, it doesn't have to be exactly like mine. You can do a different color. That's totally fine. So I've got this nice pointed top on my castle. Great, so now you could choose any color you'd like. I'm going to choose blue, but you can choose any color you want. And I'm going to actually, should I choose blue? Actually, I might choose a purple so that it doesn't blend in too perfectly with the sky. So this is a purple I made, and it's called French Lavender. I'm pulling that up. And I'm going to do another little smiley face here. This song you're hearing is, I believe, from The Secret Garden. Yes, it's called The Secret Garden. Very magical and very calming. Take some of that purple. Again, that little smiley face shape. And I'm going to point up. Except you can see that it gets lost, or it goes behind that part of the castle. Right? Or actually, let's bring it in front of that castle. I changed my mind. So you can see it actually goes in front there. And I color that in. It's up to you though, if you wanted it to be in the back. That would just mean this part of the castle's up forward and the pink part is further back. So it's up to you how you want to make your castle. Great, and you guessed right, there's a third color here. Now if you wanted to make it another purple or or you wanted to make them all the same color, it's up to you. I'm going to grab this yellowish kind of orange that I created with this student. And you can grab, again, any color you'd like. And I'm going to do another little smiley face down here. And I'm going to go up and repeat that shape again. And of course, I'll color that in. And I have a little bit of water, but not too much because I want the pigment and the color to show through for my detail. So when I say pigment, again, that just means the color that's in here, the little watercolor cake. So when I say more of this, that means you've got to go in there and grab more of it and less drippy water. So your castle's almost ready for detail. And now we have depth in this painting. You've got your sky, which is the furthest back in the landscape. You've got your hills back here, which are right in front of that sky, even back here. Then you've got your castle standing nice and tall. And in front of that, you've got a bush. So we're going from the back forward. Then we've got this tree right here. Or actually, then we've got the grass. And then the tree really close. So you've got so many layers from way far away to really close, right? Pretty amazing. So many layers in paintings. So I'll give you a minute to add little touch-ups to your castle if you need to. Then we'll start adding the windows and the doors and all that good stuff. So now I'm going to leave my castle white for now. I just want to show you that when you're painting with watercolor and you want to leave white, and you may not have white like this, and even if you did have white like this, it doesn't come out as thick. So I can just leave my color white if I'd like, and just kind of trace around it, and my background will show through. So I use the paper as my white paint. So, however, if you want a pink castle or a rainbow castle, feel free to change it up, okay? So I'm showing you with a white castle, but you may want something different. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a color for my door. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a sparkly door. Again, if you don't have sparkle colors, that's okay. You can choose gray, you could choose brown, whatever color you'd want. So my student's still trying to name this color, but we created this one the other day. And I'm gonna go ahead and make a door out of this color. This one reminds me of Cinderella's dress. So it's magical to me, which is why I chose it. But you may want to choose another color for your door. And I'm going ahead and just doing kind of like, just another little like lump, almost like a hill. Or maybe you could think of something else that's a shape like that, like a tunnel. Maybe like a U upside down. And you're gonna make a shape just like that for the door. I'll give you a minute to make that shape. Great. Now you could choose any other colors you'd want for the windows. And so you can choose pink windows, purple windows. I think I'm going to go for a similar color. Actually, that's the same color. Let's see. I'll go for another color that was created by a student. Except this one's a little darker. This one's called Midnight Dreams. The other one is still yet to be named. And I'm going to go in and add some windows wherever I'd like. So there's this color. And there's similar shapes to your door. They're just smaller. And you can add them wherever you'd like. And if you feel more comfortable drawing these out with pencil first, you can definitely do that. And then color them in when they're ready. So you should feel really proud of yourself when you finish this. This is a multi-layered landscape, and that's a pretty big deal. And we've got a window there, and I may add another window down here too. Okay, so you can do your windows however you'd like, and your door however you'd like. So I'll go ahead and give you a chance to add those to your castle. Okay, I'm going to move forward, but please remember, especially if you're watching this later, you can pause if I move too fast, okay? So I'm going to add some flags to my castle, and this is totally optional, which means you don't have to do it, but it might be a nice touch. So I'm going to add maybe a pink flag right here above my purple. To do that, I go above, I leave some room for the stem, I go up, and I do a little line like that. Then I'm going to add a point and a second point. And you may just want one point on your flag. That's okay. You can do that. Kind of like a triangle on its side. I decided for 2 points right there. But you could use one. And I color that in. And it's floating right now. But we're going to add the stems after, so don't worry about that. And you could see this song even change the mood. This song made things sound more triumphant and big. Like something important is going to happen, which it is. You're going to add your flags. So now I'm going to grab some yellow. And I will do the same thing. But see, you can see I kind of got a little bit carried away with my pink and it's really tall. That's okay. I'm going to add my flag here anyway. It's just going to have a shorter stem. Or it might actually be flowing in the wind. And if yours cuts off, that's okay. You don't have to add a flag if yours cut off. So now I'm going to add one right above my orange. What color should I pick? Maybe I'll choose purple. So I'm going to take that French, I called it French lavender, but it's actually French lilac. Still getting used to all the names. And I'm going to do that same shape. Again, if you want, you can just do 1 point like that as a triangle. Or you could do 2 points like I did. It's up to you. You could even be really different and say, I want heart-shaped flags or a star. You can even decorate the flags after they dry. This is your magical world, so you can make it any way you'd like. Okay, and you could see I messed up, so I went in a few times till I felt comfortable and I liked my flag. So you take your time. Great, so once I've got those flags up there, I can choose a dark color, any color I want. I'm going to choose that same color I used for the windows, a Midnight Dreams. And and you can use black or gray or blue, and I'm just going to do a very skinny line. Or if you're kind of nervous about this, you can definitely use a pen if you prefer. And there, now my castle has some flags. And there's just one or a couple more steps, and your whole castle landscape is done. So I'll give you a minute to add those flags. Take your time. Great. Now we're going to add some flowers and a couple trees in the back. And we're going to be all done with this multi-layer beautiful painting. However, if you want to add extra things like maybe flower pots here, or you want to put a princess here, whatever you want to add, it's up to you. Again, this is your magical land, so I'm just showing you how I would make mine, but you can add whatever you like. This is your time to be really creative. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to grab again a green of my choice. So I'm mixing that green with some of my glitter green to get a different type of green. And I'm going to go up here by the castle and I'm going to kind of scribble in some trees. What I mean by that, they're scribble trees. They start off small and they go into a little point like that. And if your green blends in too much with the back, kind of like mine does, I'm going to add a dark color with it. So I'm going to add some blue and green together to darken it a little bit, change the color a bit. And you can see right there. I just scribble, but as I go up, it gets really skinny. Okay, and we don't want it to be too perfect, so don't worry about it being too perfect. We've got a tree there, and what you can do with that is add it wherever you like. And that'll just add even more layers and more depth. So I'm going to add one over here by the castle. Right there. You can add yours wherever you want though. And I'm going to even add one way in the back, kind of cut off. But again, you can add these wherever you want around the castle. I think it makes the castle look even more magical. And I'm going to put one tree starting up here that's kind of small. So you feel free to add those trees wherever you want. And remember, you don't have to do this painting in one day. You could come back to it as many times as you'd like. You can start it, take a break, and come back. I do that for a lot of my paintings. And they usually come out really good when I take my time like that. I could do, again, as many or as little as I want. I may just want one tree. I may want 5 trees. I may want 25 trees. It's totally up to you. Pretty magical. And I'll give you time to add those trees to your castle. And last but not least, we're going to add some flowers down here. And your painting is all done. So take your time on those trees. I'll give you a moment, and remember to pause if you need to. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our flowers, our final touch. So I'm going to take any green of my choice, and I'm going to put little stems with maybe 2 little leaves or more than 2 leaves, different sizes. When I go way to the back, I want to make them small, really tiny. Up in the front, they're a lot bigger. And I wonder if you can guess why. Why are they so small back there and so big up here? Try to think about when you're outside and you look way far into the hills or way far away. How big are the trees when you're looking up into the hills? How big are the plants that are way far away? They're tiny, right? So a lot of things, even though this plant may be the same size as this plant, this one's much closer, so it looks big. This one's really far, so it looks small. This is why this tree is so big. Those trees are so much smaller. So I'm going to do as many or as little flowers as I want. You can even have some cut off on the sides to make it look more natural. So you could just add 3 flowers, you could add 20 flowers, whatever you want to do. So I started with the stems like this, and I'm even going to do tiny. You don't have to do the leaves, you can just do stems, however you want to do it. Or you don't even have to do stems, you could just do flowers. So I'm going to start with maybe some purple flowers. Go back to my French lilac here. Get as much pigment as I need. And I'm going to go ahead and decorate my flowers. So here, I'm just going to do a circle. And I'm going to have a couple little petals pointing down. Those are the flowers I'm choosing. You may have a different type of flower you want to try. I really want you guys to be creative for this one, so I'm letting you pick a lot of your own stuff, okay? So mine is just a guide. You can see I'm putting some petals pointing down for my purple flowers. So it has one big purple dot, right? And then a couple petals that go down, like that. And I'm just inventing this as I go, which is the fun part about being an artist. You get to create your own world, change things up. Next, I'm going to grab some pink. Now these flowers I want to be a little different. These flowers, I want to make them almost look like hearts a little bit, but in the middle I have one more petal, like that. And back here I could just do little dots. Because they're so tiny, we can't really make out the shape, right? Because they're so far away. Here, again, I'm going to kind of do a heart, but it kind of goes off the edge there. That makes it look natural. And then I have one in the middle. And I could do as many of those flowers as I'd like, or as little as I'd like. Remember, the further back your flowers are, the further away they are. They're smaller. The closer they are, the bigger they are, because they're right up close. One last thing, I wanted to debut this color today, which is really special to me and to my student. It's called Mika's Gold. And so if you have any kind of shiny metallic paint, or if you just have a color you like that's really special, you can add it wherever you like on your painting. So I'm going to take this. It's the first time I've used it, so I'm not really sure how it works yet. And with metallic paints, you have to pull up a lot more. It's going to take me a minute to grab it. So I'm going to grab as much of this glitter paint as I can. And I'm going to add some glitter to the tree here. And you can see, it might be hard to see on the camera, but it's actually really sparkly and really pretty. Wow, it's kind of like a bronze gold. So it fits perfect with my tree. And then with any of these kind of sparkly paints, I can add them wherever I want. Maybe if I add it here, we can see it a little more clear. And I'm gonna put it around my door. So you can do this with any paint, any color you like, or if you have glitter, you can do that. Just makes it nice and magical. So to me, it almost looks like a bronze gold. You can see that right there. Awesome. So then I'm all done with my magical landscape. I hope you guys had a great time creating with me, and I can't wait to see your different castles and your landscapes. Some of you may have a purple sky, some of you may have a rainbow castle, and I want to let you know that's more than okay. That's wonderful. That means that you were creative and you used your imagination. Or if you wanted to just kind of focus on how to do it and you did one just like mine, that's okay too. That's a great way to learn. Some of the most famous artists copied other artists to learn and to get better. So then they can make their own paintings. Well, thank you guys for creating with me. I had a great time.